Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Lore Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Lore Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Lore Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivano Lore Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Radha Madhava Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Jai Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Asajasa Trishishya Manas Divine Grace the A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Honorable Vaishnavani Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Prem Se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayaprabhu Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Somaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Gaup Hemanandi. How glorious some devotees, all glorious some devotees, all glorious some devotees, all glorious Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Is this working okay? Naikantata Patikaraha Karmanam Karma Kevalam Dvayam Hi Avidyo Pashritam Swapne Swapna Ivanaga Naikantata Patikaraha Karmanam Karma Kevalam Dhayam Yavidyo Pashritam Swapne Swapna Ivanaga Naikantata Patikara Karmanam Karma Kevalam Dvayam Yavidyo Pashritam Swapne Swapna Ivanaga Naikantata Patikara Karmanam Karma Kevalam Dhayam Yavidyo Pashritam Swapne Swapna Ivanaga Naikantata Patikara Karmanam Karma Kevalam Dhayam Yavidyo Pashritam Swapne Swapna Ivanaga Na, never. Ekantata, ultimately. Patikaraha, counteraction. Karmanam, of different activities. Karma, another activity. Kevalam, only. Dvayam, both. He, because. Avidya, due to illusion. Upashritam, accepted. Swapne, in a dream. Swapna, a dream. Iva, like. Anaga, O you who are free from sinful activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Narada continued. O you who are free from all sinful activity, no one can counteract the effects of fruitive activity simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. All such activity is due to our ignorance. When we have a troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with a troublesome hallucination. One can counteract a dream only by awakening. Similarly, our material existence is due to our ignorance and illusion. Unless we awaken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot be relieved of such dreams. For the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness. Purport. There are two kinds of activity. There are two kinds of fruitive activity. We can place the burden on the head, or we can place it on the shoulder. Actually, keeping the burden in either place is the same. The transferal, however, is taking place under the name of counteraction. In this connection, Prahlad Maharaj said that fools and rascals in the material world plan so gorgeously for bodily comfort without knowing that such arrangements, even if successful, are only Maya. People are working hard day and night for the illusory happiness of the body. This is not a way to achieve happiness. One has to get out of this material entanglement and return home back to Godhead. That is real happiness. The Vedas therefore enjoin, don't remain in the darkness of this material world. Go to the light of the spiritual world. To counteract the distress of this material body, one has to take on another distressed condition. Both situations are only illusion. There is no gain in taking on one trouble to counteract another trouble. The conclusion is that one cannot be perpetually happy as long as one exists in this material world. The only remedy is to get out of this material world altogether and return home back to Godhead. Jai. Om Jnanatimandasya Gyananjana Salakya Chakshram Numitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Mukham Kotavachalang Pangum Hayate Grim Yatkripa Talaham Vande Shigurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatibhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaisnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavan Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada quotes a little verse here. Tamasima Jyotirgama, come out of the darkness and go to the light. So this is the material world. It's a place of darkness. And people are trying to find happiness in a place where there's only darkness. So definitely there'll be some frustration. So the whole point of the teachings that are given to us by Krishna, by the acharyas, is to come out of this darkness and go to the light, to come out of the dream. It's interesting, Prabhupada, he says in one purport that the material world is created by the dreaming of Mahavishnu. The whole creation is a dream of Mahavishnu. But the reality is in the spiritual world. This is a dream in the sense that it's temporary. Of course, we're real, we're spirit souls. The body is real, but it's temporary. But the real platform of existence is in the spiritual world, where everything is eternal. Prabhupada goes on to mention that, unfortunately, some living entities in the spiritual, they come and they try to imitate Krishna. A lot of bad imitations. Yeah. Try to imitate Krishna. They come to this dream world. People are dreaming. I could have this, I could have that, I'll be happy. Big house, big car, lots of money, sense gratification, dreaming that they'll find happiness. Prabhupada was on a walk with some devotees, I think it was in Dallas. And they saw this, there's this one park, it said Children's Fairyland. Yeah. Children's Fairyland, a little park there for kids. And to the right there was downtown. So Prabhupada said, Adults Fairyland. It's another dream. They're in another dream, like children, they're in a whole other world. But the adults also, it's a big dream. Yeah. So, dreaming is a very common thing. Just like Mahavishnu, this is Mahavishnu's dream, right? And we're in this dream that we're American or male or female or this or that. Another dream. Then we go to sleep. Then we go into another dream. There's so many dreams going on in the material world. Yeah. So the whole point is to wake up. To wake up from this dream. Not an easy thing, because we've been in this dream for a long time. It appears so real. It's like there's one devotee in the early days. He was meditating on how Prabhupada said this material world's an illusion. It's like a dream, and he said, but if I walk into the wall, I'm gonna. So he thought, well, let me concentrate. So he concentrated, and he thought he could just if I could just realize that I'm not this illusion, this dream, I could just go right there. So he with concentration, he walked. Bam! He walked into the wall. So it's not like that. The body is real, but it's temporary. It's one of Krishna's energies. The wall is real too, as he found out. Bam! So, the reality is that we're spirit soul. We're part and parcel of Krishna. And the goal of the human form of life is to engage in pure devotional service. I was just listening to a lecture. Prabhupada said that devotional service can't begin until we're self-realized. We have to come to this realization that we're not this bag of flesh and bone and all these elements. We're the soul within. To come to that realization, it's not an easy thing. To come to that step, that's a huge step, to realize that I'm the soul within. I'm part of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna. But that's where it begins. Devotional. Of course, we're doing devotional service. There's devotional service in the mode of passion, devotional service in the mode of ignorance, devotional service in the mode of goodness. But this is tinged with material desires. So we're trying to get out of this tinged consciousness. There's still some selfish desire. So somehow we have to wake up. And Krishna, he has a way of helping devotees wake up. Like there was one devotee, he was living in Miami for some time, disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And after some time he just thought, well, I don't think this is for me. So he left. And he's surfing on the beach there. And he's surfing, having a good time. Right? He sees a shark coming to him. A big shark is coming towards him. He's like, oh my God. So he turns around and he's paddling. He's saying, Krishna, if you get me out of this, I'll go back to the temple and I won't leave. So the shark came and he took a chop, but he only got the board. He was able to escape. Ramdas, You know Ram Das. So, yeah, he went back to the temple. So Krishna, there was a wake-up call. You know. Another devotee, similar experience. He had left, and he was working on his car. He was under the car, he was working on it, and somehow the jack kind of gave way, and it wasn't a big car, but the engine was on his chest. And he said, "Krishna, please, 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 please help me, please. I'll go back to the temple. I promise. I'll surrender again." Yeah. And somehow someone came by and worked it out, and they lifted the car and they went back to the temple. So, yeah, wake up call. Yeah. But this is the mercy of Krishna, that someone may have some difficulty, and then Krishna, he helps. Like there was one devotee, he closed the car door, and when he closed it, somehow he had his finger in the way, completely knocked off the end of his finger. Completely, just like if you take a hammer, like that. I mean, can you imagine how painful that is? Ooh. But he said, this is a wake-up call. He understood, this is Krishna. This is Krishna. Get serious. Get more serious. And he did. Yeah. So hopefully you don't have to go through things like that. But Krishna does this. This is his kindness. Yasyahamadu gunami hrisi taddanam janai. Yeah. He does these things to help us. Yeah. It's like Prabhupada. This happened to Prabhupada. He was a very successful businessman. He had a whole warehouse of different types of medicine. He was very successful. Even there was one astrologer that said he was going to be one of the wealthiest men in India. And he was doing quite well. But his mind was not there. His mind was on preaching. So he couldn't focus on his business, because that, his spiritual masters and, instruction, so he kept on going to preaching. He kept on, and eventually his warehouse was robbed. Everything was taken. Everything was taken. And then he chanted that verse, all right, let me go preach some more. I think that's when he went to Jungsi. Right? He was in, yeah. He got a nice building. He was going to sing, this is good. It wasn't donated, but it was going that direction. So there was great hope that he can do. And he was going around the cities around Jungsi and preaching. So he was actually getting a foothold. He was inspired, enlivened. He even got one disciple there. Also, a professor. He became a professor of Sanskrit. What was his? Huh? Acharya Prabhakar. Yeah, he was the first disciple, Srila Prabhupada. So, but then Krishna took it away. I think the governor's wife wanted to use it as a women's club or something. There's nothing he could do. So he thought, all right, time to go to the West. Yeah, people aren't showing so much interest here, so let me go. Let me go to the West. And that's when he really focused on, going to the West. And that was a whole other trip also, just getting out of India. The P-form and passport and this and that. But to our great fortune, all these reversals happened to Srila Prabhupada. And he was able to come and help us. So sometimes the people are in a situation that are really nice, and therefore it's actually difficult to surrender to Krishna. It's like when there's reversals. It's like there's that saying that there's no atheist in a foxhole. When there's reversals, people naturally they take shelter of God. It's like there was one devotee. He was before he joined, he was in the military in Vietnam. And there was a whole platoon, maybe 200, and they were being dropped off by helicopter. And as soon as they dropped, they were being shot at, and they were being killed. And one of them, he was just traumatized. It was just, so he fell down, and he just started shouting to God, "God, please save me! God, please protect me!" Just shouting like anything. And he was one of the 7 that survived that attack. And he was shouting so loudly, Krishna really heard him, because when he got back to the States, he got a book and became a devotee. Brajavalava. He became a big book distributor in Miami. So Krishna really heard him. You know? He got a book and became a big book distributor. So sometimes these reversals are good, you know. But generally people don't want reversals. Nobody wants reversals, but people want opulence. Janmaisvarya, Sutashribir, Edamana Madapo, Nayavaha Devatakintai, Tomakinchana Gocharam. People want this, high birth, opulence, lots of money, not just a little money, a lot of money. People want a lot of money. Beauty. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Makeup. Men also, they're putting makeup on their face now. Education. But when people have these things, it's difficult to call out the name of Krishna. Queen Kunti, she says that you're very easily approached, but only by those persons who are materially exhausted. But those persons who want high birth, wealth, education, beauty, they cannot call out your name with feeling. So to be able to call out the name of Krishna with feeling, that's an opulence. That's an opulence in itself. And rare. I only know one person in our society that had all these things, actually. High birth, opulence, beauty, handsome. Ambarish, educated, college educated. Or I call him Ambarish Maharaj. Nice, humble Vaishnava. So it's not that if someone has these things, it's not possible. I mean, he's building the TOVP. I mean, not him alone, but he put I don't know how many millions. He's doing so much service. Yeah, the Samadhi, the temple there in Detroit, him and that Mataji, they bought that temple. So much service he's doing. Very humble, nice Vaishnava. So it's not that if one has these things, it's not possible, but it's much more difficult if one has these things. Whereas if someone doesn't have these things, then it's easier. Just like in the third world countries like South America, practically everybody believes in God. Practically everybody. Because they're not so well-to-do. But you go to the first world countries, except for America. America still, although people are God conscious here, there's opulence. It's in Europe. It's a whole other story. 90% atheism in Europe. It's crazy. Prabhupada said once, the reason America is so opulent is because on all their currency, there's "In God We Trust." The only country in the world. The atheists are trying to take that out. There's an atheist society in America. They're trying to taking to court and everything. Oh yeah, that's a big thing. They don't want to carry things in their that says "In God We Trust." I don't believe it. So it irks them. They don't like that. they're forced to carry notes and carry coins. God we trust. So yeah, Prabhupada said that's the reason there's so much opulence in this country. So these are some things that make it difficult to advance, to have these things. But there's other things that help us to grow in spiritual life. These four things that makes it difficult for us to develop our love for Krishna, because people become bewildered by them. You have a lot of money. It's like there's devotees that have joined and they got a big inheritance and they leave. Now I can enjoy. I got money. You heard of devotees like that? You knew one. Yeah. Or people that are very beautiful. It's difficult. And we don't have many Miss Americas joining, or Mr. America, very handsome or very beautiful people. Although in Europe there's some, I've seen some. So yeah, it makes it more difficult. Or very, very intelligent people. Difficult. Yeah. They're hearing, as Bhakti Thakur, they've gone through the slaughterhouse of modern education. They become bewildered. Yeah. Even devotees that have gone back to school, they hear the idea, Darwin's idea, and sounds pretty good. I've heard devotees, they accept this. I mean, Krishna's given them so much intelligence, these scientists, that it sounds good even to devotees, and they believe it. Yeah. It's amazing. Huh? Krishna gives them that intelligence. Sounds good. Yeah. Yeah. So, better not be, as Prabhupada said, over-intelligent. So there's things that can help us grow in our spiritual life also. Dadati pratikunate guyam akyati prachiti bhuntite bodhiti jaiva sadati prati lakshanam. These are the 6 loving exchanges. To give gifts, to give things to Krishna. Yeah. It's very auspicious. Yeah. It's like if someone has a relationship with someone, then it's natural you give things to them, birthdays or Christmas or something, or just trying to increase the relationship. You give some gift and receive some gift. Prabhupada he would get so many gifts. Yeah. There was one nice pastime of Prabhupada. He had received a ring from a devotee. I think this is in Hong Kong. And it was a really nice ring. And the servant was massaging Prabhupada. And he saw this ring and said, "Prabhupada, that's a beautiful ring." Now the person who had given the ring to Prabhupada was also in the room there when Prabhupada was getting his massage. So yeah, Prabhupada, that's so beautiful. Who gave that to you, Prabhupada? So he looked at the person who gave it to him, and he said, "Oh, somebody." So he kept it as a secret, and this is Burijan Prabhu. And Burijan Prabhu, he said, when Prabhupada did it, he does things like it would just capture your heart. Yeah. So Prabhupada received so many gifts, and he would give things. He would give things. There was one devotee who gave Prabhupada a nice watch. So Prabhupada gave him his watch. And the devotee said, "No, Prabhupada, I can't take anything from you." No, you gave me, I want to give to you. Loving exchange. So throughout the years, they would have this exchange. Prabhupada would go there, "How's your watch going?" "Well, it's okay." And Prabhupada, how's your watch going? It's good. And sweaters, Prabhupada would get sweaters, and he'd give sweaters. He'd give so many things, the kurtas and so many. And still, I mean, there was one time where Indradhyumna Swami, he had gotten Prabhupada's sannyas. What do you call it? Anyway, he had got this sannyas cover. Prabhupada had given it to him because he won the marathon. So he would wear it like that. He was a householder at the time. And sannyasis would come to him, they would be visiting and said, Prabhu, you're not a sannyasi, you're wearing this thing. Say, Prabhupada gave this to me, I'm going to wear it till it's down to the threads. Yeah. He had a lot of love for Srila Prabhupada. Still does, of course. So yeah, giving in things, receiving gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence. So we can reveal our mind to Krishna, to devotees. Yeah. In this way this helps us to grow. Inquiring submissively, inquiring from the spiritual master or senior devotees, revealing one's mind. This helps us to grow in our love for Krishna. In giving prasadam, receiving prasadam. So Krishna, he has these exchanges also. He gives. He likes to give. He receives. Just like this amazing pastime of Sudama. Sudama, he was a poor brahmana, but he was happy, but he was so poverty-stricken. But his wife said, Krishna, he's your friend. He's quite well off. Maybe he could help us out. He's doing okay. So he didn't want to bother Krishna. He's just serving Krishna. He's happy. But she kept on. Yeah. So he said, okay. But I have to bring something to him. So he found some chipped rice, right? He had to borrow it from him. He didn't even have any himself, so he had to borrow some chipped rice from a neighbor. So he goes to Dwarka. And he's a brahmana, so they opened the doors up for him, and he said, my friend is Krishna. I'd like to see Krishna. He's a brahmana. All the doors are opened up, for the brahmana. Especially he knows Krishna. So he went to Krishna, and Krishna was so happy to see him. And they had early childhood pastimes. They were in the forest, and it was raining. They were doing service for their guru, and the guru went out and looking for them and found them. But they had a nice pastime together. So they were friends, close friends. So Rukmini, she started fanning, right? And Krishna did artik, bathing his feet. Yeah. So Krishna, he very much appreciates his devotees. He likes to serve his devotees, just like devotees want to serve Krishna. Krishna likes to serve his devotees. It's all in the spiritual world. It's all about service, right? Material world, who's interested in service. We want to be served. Someone serve me. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if one has the mentality of wanting to be served, it's an evil mentality. He said it's an evil mentality to want to be served. And what is the devotee mentality? We want to serve. Always want to serve. Servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Gopi Bhartu Parikamalayo Das Das Anadas. So Sudama, he was a little embarrassed. It's Krishna, his Lord and Master. He's worshipping. He took it. This is the Varnashram. I'm the Brahmana. He's a Kshatriya, so he accepted. And then after some time, he left. And when he was leaving, he was thinking, Krishna didn't give me anything, but that's good. He knew that I would probably become proud if he gave me something. So he was thinking like this. But then when he got to where his house was, huge palace. He's like, wait, am I in the right neighborhood? Where'd this come from? And there was male servants and female servants, and his wife came to him, all opulent, and he was amazed. So this is reciprocation. This is the reciprocation of Krishna. So if we surrender to Krishna, he'll reciprocate. And the best thing that we can achieve, that we can receive, is to attain love for Krishna. To have a pure mind, to have a pure heart, pure desire to serve Krishna. This is the greatest gift that we can receive. We have to give. We have to give service. We have to constantly give service. Tesam saritjiktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenam yatite. To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can. He guides us. I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. But this is what Krishna is looking for. Krishna doesn't need anything. Like we're doing so many offerings every day. We're doing so many offerings. He doesn't need anything. It's just it's a way to show our devotion to Krishna. He doesn't need anything, but what he likes, what really attracts Krishna, is devotion. This is what attracts Krishna. Just like this whole pastime with Duryodhana. Before the war, Duryodhana wanted to get on the good side of Krishna because he knew he was a powerful person. Yeah. So he was invited. They invited Krishna, and they had a huge feast arranged for Krishna. He didn't take one bite. Didn't take one. There was no love. And then they tried to capture him. They thought, well, if we can capture Krishna, then that's a big plus on our side, But then what did Krishna do? He manifested his universal form. How are you going to capture the universal form? So then Krishna left, and he went to Vidura's home, where there was this permeated with devotion, so much devotion that when Vidura was offering him a banana, he put the banana peel on the plate and threw the banana out the window. But it was offered with so much love, Krishna enjoyed the banana peel. Didn't eat the feast over at Duryodhana's, but he relished the banana peel because it was offered with so much devotion. This is Krishna. Yeah. This is what captures the heart of Krishna. So this is what we pray for: devotion for Krishna, devotion for Krishna, and a pure mind. This mind is such an obstacle to our attaining this devotion for Krishna. So you have to pray, Krishna, please purify my mind, purify my heart, so that all I want to do is to serve you. Okay, any question or comment? Yes, Prabhu. So nice to have Rajendra Nandana Prabhu again in class. Yeah. Brings the whole atmosphere alive again, dancing and giving nice classes.
I'm so fortunate you allow me to be here. Thank you. Krishna wants the devotion, and even the pastime with Sudama Vipra. I didn't want to interrupt you, but he had the chipped rice, the old funky, low-quality chipped rice, and he didn't want to offer it, but Krishna, oh, did you bring me anything?
Oh, right.
Oh, no. Surely, and he snatched it from him, and he ate just a little, and then he was going to eat some more, and Lakshmi Devi said, no, this isn't for you. With that little bit of offering, and just not even wanting to give it, that was out of devotion. His love was so complete.
He was embarrassed. No, I can't. Krishna, you're the Lord. I can't give you this chipped rice.
And that's really the mood of the devotee in trying to serve Krishna. I can't. What can I offer you? I have nothing that's worthy of you. And there's two other pastimes. There's Kolavechar Sridhar. Do you want to tell the water pot? Yeah,
Kolavechar Sridhar. He was also very, very poor. And the way he was making a living, he was selling these banana cups. And half of what he would make from this, he would use in the service of Krishna. 50%. Banana leaf cups. Yeah. Banana leaf cups. Our editor here. It's good to have. No, it's good to have an editor in the class. The banana leaf cups. So he was selling these. It's Bengal. There's banana leaf cups everywhere. It's not that he was making a big killing. Selling those things. He wasn't making much. So Lord Chaitanya, he would always bargain. You're charging so much, what is this? Come on, I'm a Brahmana, why are you doing like this? Come on, give me a good deal. Oh, yeah. He would always tease him like that. And then there was the Swayam Prakash of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Is this before or after the?
This is after the Swayam Prakash. Leela was after this pastime. Of his, there's finagling, trying to get a good deal.
But you remember the water pot, right?
Oh, the water pot.
That's
the water pot, right?
Relate.
He had this old water pot that was rusted and
made of iron.
And what was it? Lord Chaitanya, he drank out of it. He drank out of this. No, Lord Chaitanya, please don't. This is not nice. Please don't. You should not drink out of things like this. But he drank out of it. It was just like nectar. You want to continue it?
No, okay. That's the word. He said, "Oh, this is the best nectar."
This is the best nectar. So then. Then there was the
was completely. It was not worth. You would not drink out of it. You could get sick from drinking. A rust.
It was so rusty, you could get sick from drinking from it. But Lord Chaitanya is the greatest nectar. So then there was the Swayam Prakash, where Lord Chaitanya was giving benedictions to everyone, and then Sridhar Swami, Kulavichar Sridhar was there, and Lord Chaitanya said, "I'll give you anything you want. Anything you want." He could see, and actually, Lord Chaitanya, he was teasing him. "Don't you know I'm the Supreme Lord?" When he was before this Swayam Prakash, and Kulavechar sort of said, "How could you speak like this? What are you doing? This is not. Don't you have any? Huh? Vishnu. How could you speak like this?" But then it came to be known. Actually, he is the Supreme Lord. And he manifests that. He manifests the Sadbuj, right? In that pastime. Yes, I believe her. So anyway, it was clear. This is God. So Lord Chaitanya said, "I'll give you anything you want." So what did Kulavechar Sridhar say? "I just want you to come daily and try to make a deal with me, with my leaf cups. Just this will satisfy me more than anything else you can give me."
Life after life.
Life after life. You said life after life. So nice. He was so happy in this finagling of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was so nice pastime. Such a fortunate. So he had nothing, though. He had nothing. But he had the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He had these wonderful pastimes with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Can't imagine how fortunate. Now, wasn't he was Sudamripa in the past life. Yeah. Yeah, Kulavechar Sridhar was Sudam in the Krishna Lila. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Thank you for a very nice class. That's the first thing. Also, I wanted to just go back a little bit about the first part of the class and how there's so many incredible stories. I'd never heard those about devotees who went through difficulty and that impelled them to go to the temple or go back to the temple. That's kind of one of the central points of this whole allegory. And the idea that if you are exposed to the philosophy and you know some of it, then the things that happen in this world, and there will be difficulties, we should take them as impetuses, as reminders of how tenuous our hold is on this world. In other words, that's a central lesson of the Shastra that we have. And seeing that tattenu kumpam susamikshimano, because you have a choice when bad things happen, to see it as proof that there's no God, or to rail against God. Why is this happening? I go to church once a week, I pray, or whatever. But the devotees who are sincere, they see this, this is Krishna's mercy. As you said, Prabhupada even gave himself, he takes, when I show my real mercy, I take away, and then the rest of it is that their family doesn't like him anymore, they kick him out, and there was that Avanti Brahmin who was the ideal of that.
Yeah.
So it's all how you take it, as a lesson to remind us of how to get closer to Krishna and surrender to Krishna and realize.
Some people become atheists when difficulties come.
Yes, Prabhupada gives you an example in Germany, and that's one of the reasons why there's so much atheism there.
Yeah.
That Europe was ravaged by World War II. America was never conquered.
We've only had a civil war.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But still, it's that's the other part of the lesson here, is seeing the bad things as impetus to be serious.
Yeah. Yeah, these difficulties are blessings in disguise. Gives impetus. There's a nice analogy given by a devotee that imagine there's a well, okay, a pretty deep well. There's water in the bottom of the well. Okay, there's an alligator on the bottom of the well in the water, and there's a rope hanging down, and on the bottom of the rope there's a man hanging. Okay, you got the picture? And the water is rising. So if the water is rising, the alligator is rising. The man is hanging on the rope. So he's hanging on the rope. The alligator is getting closer. So he better get up that rope. Now, as we all know, it's not easy climbing up a rope. Body's heavy. Usually the arms aren't that strong. But if you got an alligator coming close to you, in which you're going to be dinner, if you don't climb up that rope, no problem. The adrenaline flows, you're up that rope, no problem, right? So the difficulty gave impetus to get up the rope. Yeah. So difficulty for a devotee is welcomed. That gives impetus for us to go closer, to escape from this prison. Advanced devotees, Queen Kunti, she's the only person I know of, though, that prays for difficulty. Actually, I have to give you you told me I have to give some book distributions, so I'm going to tell you something. In relation to this verse, in dreams, there's one devotee that was a book distributor here back 30 years ago. Devaki Nandana Prabhu, remember him? Yeah. Well, you remember him too? He was a steady book distributor here. And he had this dream. He was a book distributor for years. He married an Australian lady. He was distributing the books there for years. But he had this dream. He's in this dream, and he's driving a motorcycle in a tunnel. Okay, long tunnel. He's amazed. It's such a long tunnel. So he gets to the end, and somehow by mystic, he ends up. He's in an office in a building, high, top floor of the building. And there's a lady there, and he goes to her and says, "Excuse me, where are we?" And she says, "Well, you're the most fortunate person in the universe. Go look outside." He goes and he looks outside, and it's just like heavenly, so beautiful. And he sees Ananta Shesh there, and Mahavishnu was lying on Ananta Shesh. And he's like, "Wow, this is amazing." And then Vishnu starts coming towards him. And then he turns into Krishna. And then he woke up. Pretty amazing dream. Book book distribution dreaming. She said, you're the most fortunate because you're distributing books. Therefore you're receiving this great fortune. Go look outside. You have something to say? No? Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki